But when we look at the Middle East, there are so many people suffering, and there are Christian families suffering, and there are others suffering. Do you think that people who are suffering are um, paying for something they did wrong?
I don't know whether it's as true overseas as it is here, because a lot of those people that are suffering over there are just innocent people, and they're being persecuted. A lot of Christians are, but there are others that aren't Christians too, that are just, if they don't believe a certain way, then their lives are invaluable to those who believe differently than they do. And I certainly don't think that God is punishing them. But you know, there is something wonderful, even in the horrors of persecution and of illnesses that we have, whether whatever country we're in, or of pain that we suffer, because sometimes that's the impetus that gets our minds going and thinking about something beyond ourselves. And if there's someone around that has given us some information about the Lord and how He can help us, then we have a reason to really want to know Him. You know, when in this country, when things are going well, you know, we think we're in control and we can handle it and we don't need God. But when things go wrong, then we start thinking a little more deeply. And I think that in a far more, or in a greater sense, people in other countries who have never had a chance to know Jesus and maybe have lived comfortably until this persecution started, when they hear the good news of Christ, it just gives them something to live for and to die for, because it's not only what you get here, but it's what you have in the afterlife. And when we are, I think we're so spoiled in this country because we have almost everything we want. Now, I know there's a lot of homelessness and that, and certainly I'm not belittling the suffering that they're doing. But in other countries, there is a lot more suffering and persecution. And I just am so grateful for ministries like yours, for instance, where they go and they give that hope to people in that. And it's more than just a hope, it's a promise, because Christ has promised us eternal life if we live for Him. And from the stories that I've read of these people that have been persecuted and killed, many of them, not only they themselves, but their families rejoice that they have been able to die for Christ. Makes me ashamed.
It's almost countercultural for us to see
Yeah.
the families of people who have been killed for their faith, and
Right.
they're praising God, and they're thanking Him, and they're forgiving their enemies.